This is called The Kitchen Madonna by Rumer Godden. The children did not like it that Marta was unhappy. "Well, she chose to come, didn't she?" said Janet. "Haven't you ever chosen to do something and not like it at all?" asked Father, and Janet had to admit that she had. Gregory had not. "But then, Greg hardly ever does anything," Janet could have said. Gregory was a quiet boy, although first in his class at school, but oddly out of things at home. "He puts himself out of things," Janet would have said, and Mother complained, "Gregory keeps himself to himself." Then Marta had come to help in the house. "Help, she is the house," Gregory might have said, and from the first he had taken an interest in her, which was strange because he had taken none at all in the much younger Danish Tove and French Babette who had preceded her. "But Tove was so good at games, she could play with you," said Mother. Gregory did not like games, and Babette was so gay. Babette's gaiety had made Gregory more quiet than ever. Marta neither played games nor was gay. She was from the Polish Ukraine, and no wonder she's sad, said Mother. Think of the history of her country. But Gregory thought Marta's sadness had nothing to do with her country. It was of now. Though Marta was in late middle age and Gregory was a small boy, he too sometimes felt that brooding unhappiness, especially at twilight. When Mother is still out, he might have said, only he preferred to keep that thought to himself. "He never hugs you as Janet does," said Mother, and sighed. "He's so wrapped up in himself that sometimes I wonder if he has a heart, and he's so possessive." It was true that Gregory was almost fiercely possessive. No one except Janet now and then, if she had permission, was allowed into his loft. No one must touch his things, his ship pictures, his books, his birthday watch, or his cat Rudel. Rudel was called Rudel because Gregory had found him as a starving kitten roodling in a dustbin. He was Gregory's, not Father's or Mother's or Janet's. But from the first day Marta came, Gregory let her stroke Rudel, even feed him and pick him up. Marta was a boon to Mother. "She's the best help we've ever had," said Mother. Mother and Father, Mr. and Mrs. Thomas, were both busy architects, which made hard work for Mother, who had the children to look after and the house to run besides the office. Often she was kept late or else had to go away to inspect a house or a site, and then she was worried. Marta had only been with them 3 months, but already Mother was looking less harried. Marta was tireless, clean, and a beautiful cook, though she does give your children rather too rich and spicy foods. But "Borscht and goulash, yummy," said Janet, and "Stay with us forever," she begged. If Marta wished, she could stay. She had not come for a year like Babette and Tove, and "We're so tired of changes," said Gregory. Ever since he could remember, the changes had been continuous. As soon as they got used to one person, she went, and another came, one after the other, Gregory could have said. To Gregory, the important thing about Marta was that she was always there. When they came down in the morning, Marta was in the kitchen making coffee and toast, putting out bowls of cereal, heating rolls, setting the table with honey and milk. When they came in from school, she had their tea ready on the kitchen table, and to Gregory, it was inexpressibly lovely to come home knowing the house would be lit and welcoming instead of dark, forsaken, with a note telling them to go next door. When they went to bed, they knew the house was safe because Marta was downstairs in the kitchen getting dinner ready. She put her own plate on a newspaper at one end of the kitchen table. "Marta, you must have a tablecloth," cried Mother when she discovered this. "But I like newspaper. I try read new words," said Marta. When she had washed up, she went quietly up to bed in her room next to Gregory's and Janet's bedrooms. "But don't you want to go out?" asked Mother. "I go out," Martha answered in her slow way. After years in England, she still spoke English haltingly. "I go to the shop, take knitting in the gardens. Where else?" asked Marta. She did go to church on Sundays, but this was early in the morning before the family was up. It was peaceful and "Steady," said Gregory, not continually upsetting as it had been with Tove and Babette, who were always wanting to go out, so that complicated arrangements had to be made for Gregory and Janet, and they felt like incubi, said Gregory, using one of his special words. Mrs. Peebles, the daily woman, had to come in and sit with them, which made them feel they were babies, or he and Janet were sent to spend the evening with friends. "Not my friends," said Gregory, or else Teresina, the Italian cook next door, kept an eye on them. And when they were alone in the big house, it felt even bigger and more lonely. Holidays were worse because then it went on all day. Always being fobbed off on people, said Gregory. It was not only this. Tove and Babette had brought their friends to the house. "We were invaded," said Gregory. Sometimes he used odd expressions for a 9-year-old boy. Invaded. "But it's nice to have people," Mother told him. Gregory did not think it nice. With Tove and Babette, the house had not felt like the Thomases' own. With Marta, it did. "Because there's no one here but us," said Gregory. Without thinking, he included Marta when he said us. Marta, it appeared, did not want friends. The old lady she had worked for in the country had died. "Me there 22 years," said Marta. 22 years, that's ages," said Janet. "Long, long before they were born, more than twice as long." "You must have liked it to stay so long," said Gregory jealously. "No, not like," said Marta. "Then why did you stay?" demanded Janet. "Old lady ill. She need Marta," said Marta, as if that settled it. "We need you too," said Janet, and the whole of Gregory longed to say that as well. "We need you. Stay with us forever." But he was tongue-tied, and Mother filled him with dread when she sighed and said, "I'm afraid it's too lonely for Marta." "Make it less lonely," said Gregory. He meant it as a plea, but it sounded like a growl, and Mother did not answer. Besides, how could she make it less lonely? Marta was so heavy and slow, her clothes so old-fashioned that the other maids and cooks and Mother's helps in the square laughed at her. It seemed, too, that she did not want to make friends, not even with genial Teresina, who talked enough for two. When Marta saw Teresina, she popped back into the kitchen like a rabbit into its hole. Gregory did the same. "It's no good forcing her," said Mother. And soon it was settled that when the family was out, Marta was content to be with Rudel. That's all for today.